All right.
All right, let's get this thing fired up. What is going on, everybody? I see some familiar faces in here. How's everyone doing today? How's everyone's week been going? I hope you guys have been crushing it, make some moves, making some progress on your lives and your businesses. Give me a quick one just so I know that you can hear me in the chat box, please. All right. And if you're watching this on YouTube, do not give me a one. There's always someone that gives me a one on YouTube, but if it's on YouTube, it's not live. So if you're here, you are here live. And thank you for joining us tonight. We are about to get into some really good stuff. We have an awesome guest for you guys. Connor is here. What's going on, Connor?
How's it going? How's everybody doing?
All right. And we always have B-Rad on here. B-Rad.
What's up? My connection's not the greatest, so I'm just gonna kind of chill in the background, let Connor do his thing. Hopefully you guys can hear me all right.
We can hear you right now, and all good. Also, my dog is going through a phase where she barks randomly, like every minute, sometimes multiple times per minute. So I will mute my microphone when Connor's on. But all right, I think we're pretty much ready to roll. We got the room filling up a little bit. You guys know the rules. If you have any questions, you can put them in the Q&A. You can also raise your hand if you want us to call you up. The last few calls we did was more of a Q&A style where we didn't present anything. We had a bunch of people come up and ask questions. Now you got a badass presentation coming from Connor talking about Black Friday, how to get prepared, how to get your business bulletproof for the holiday season. So I'm sure you guys will have a lot of questions. Hold on to them. You can raise your hand. We'll call on you so you could jump up and ask us personally. If you don't want to do that, you could write them in the Q&A box and we'll get back to all the questions. But without further ado, let's get Connor rolling.
All right. Let me just share my screen here. Let me know when you guys can see this. All right, you should be able to see it just about now.
Yes, we can see your screen now.
Perfect, cool. I'm just gonna minimize a few things. Start this slideshow.
Your PowerPoint, you're good.
Awesome. All right. So the thing I really wanted to dive into today, just because of the fact that we are coming up so quickly on Black Friday, which is one of the best times of year to actually sell, whether it's for a brand new store or previous stores. I want to talk a little bit about a strategy that I've been using for a couple of years now. And that strategy is basically leveraging pre-sale engagement campaigns in Q4 and beyond. And the reason why I say beyond is because we actually use this strategy outside of just Black Friday, Cyber Monday as well. It's great for Easter or Valentine's Day or Mother's Day or whatever, and pretty much any time of year where people are going to be in a state of mind where they have buyer's intent. Pre-sale engagement campaigns are really phenomenal to build up a bunch of hype and sort of get that explosive sale that everybody wants to have. So jumping into it here, first thing I want to talk about is what exactly is a pre-sale engagement campaign. Well, a pre-sale engagement campaign, for the most part, simply put, is a method of warming up an audience that you either already have or an audience that is completely cold to you that you can then add to your list and start to warm up from there. So essentially all that we're doing is letting people know of what's to come and building the hype to create an explosive result because of the anticipation that we're able to create from it. And as you can see on the right-hand side there, when done right, the results can be absolutely phenomenal. So moving on, why are pre-sale engagement campaigns so incredibly powerful, and why exactly do I recommend people using them? So there's three main reasons why these types of campaigns can be so powerful. Number one, and this is definitely in order of most important to least important, but number one above all, objection elimination. So over the course of the campaign, we basically have an opportunity to eliminate objections that our audience or our new customers would have that could stop them from buying on the day that the sale actually happens. So if you think about like Black Friday on the sale, for example, in an online store, a lot of people, if they come to the site on Friday when the sale launches, they're going to have objections such as how long are shipping times? Do you have any product guarantees, satisfaction guarantees? What's the quality? What are the price points going to be like? So through this basically pre-sale engagement campaign, we can actually eliminate a lot of those objections that people will have leading up to the sale when it actually drops. That way, when the day comes and the sale actually happens, all of those objections that could stop people from buying are already completely eliminated from their mind. And the only thing that they're focused on is actually just buying the product and making sure that point two coming into play here, making sure that scarcity and fear of missing out is very, very high on their mind, because of the fact that, you know, as we deliver content and people are aware of a sale coming and limited amounts of inventory, maybe limited edition products, we can actually build up hype around that upcoming sale and prep customers to buy as quickly as possible because they don't want to miss out on that opportunity. So if you compare sort of point one and point two together, where we're eliminating anything that would stop people or make people hesitate on the day, and then at the same time put that hype and that scarcity and fear of missing out on their mind, as soon as midnight hits or 7 a.m. or 9 a.m. or whenever that sale is starting, the only thing that they're focused on is getting through that checkout process as quickly as possible. That way they don't actually miss out. And the last point I want to talk about here, point number 3, is validation and emotional connection. There's really nothing better than the opportunity to create and tap into the audience's emotional connection and validate their need to have your products for the holidays. So, for example, one of the biggest reasons people shop around Black Friday is because they're looking for Christmas gifts that they can get at a little bit of a discount, so they can save some money. So if we're actually pushing content saying stuff like, you know, this product would make a great gift, there's a limited amount of them, etc., we're really validating the fact that, you know, they're actually looking for that product as a gift or a similar product as a gift, and it creates that sort of emotional connection to that product now, where they do see that this in fact would be a great product for their friend or their significant other or whatever. So when you combine the 3 of these over the course of a pre-sale engagement campaign, it creates that really explosive sale that happens, and those explosive sales that come from it, because number 1, nobody has any objections to buying. They're ready to buy. Number 2, they don't want to miss out, so they're going to go through it quick. And number 3, they've already pre-validated the fact that those products are going to be a great choice for really whatever reason they're buying. Moving on here. I'm just going to check really quick to see if there's any questions popping up. It looks like there aren't. Do you guys want me to handle questions at the end, or should I do some throughout?
Well, we could handle questions at the end, but if you guys do have questions, you want to leave them in the Q&A box, and Connor has time to break it up and answer them, then that might be more helpful. So if you guys have questions, just leave them in the Q&A box or the chat box, and we'll be screening them, and or else we'll just answer everything at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Just give me a heads up, just in between slides or something. Let me know. It might be more helpful to answer them right in the moment as it's maybe the most relevant.
Sounds good.
Okay, so moving on. Before I get into the actual strategy behind and the technical build out behind pre-sale engagement campaigns, I just want to give you some really quick tips. I feel like, especially in the dropshipping space, people get very nervous about being overly salesy just because of the fact that it's so overdone right now. But this, like Q4 around holidays, like these are the one time that we can actually be really, really salesy, because of the fact that everybody wants to buy something when it comes to a holiday. So you're not actually being pushy whatsoever. People are looking for those discounts. People are looking to be sold because they have money that they're trying to spend for holidays. So this is actually the one time of year or, you know, around holidays is the one point in time where I say absolutely be pushy, be super salesy, you know, push that scarcity, push those discounts, because people are actually looking for it. That leads me into point number 2. Heavy discounting is totally okay. And in some instances or some brands, heavy discounting can actually devalue your products or your brand. But during holidays, it's literally expected by people and it's sought after. So if Black Friday comes around and you're not having a discount, then people are going to be a little bit surprised at the fact that you're not actually having a sale or having a discount. So don't worry about devaluing anything, because people are actually looking for it. Third point, scarcity and FOMO, or fear of missing out, are absolutely huge. Something I touched about a little bit on the last slide. But normally, like throughout the rest of the year, similar to discounting or being salesy, too much of it can seem a little bit gimmicky. But again, when it comes to holidays, leverage the hell out of it, because you can actually bring real scarcity to the table, which is actually authentic for that holiday. So if you take a look at Black Friday, for example, Black Friday literally ends on Friday. Some stores, maybe they'll carry it over through the weekend, all the way to Monday, maybe to Tuesday, Wednesday, etc. But you actually have the opportunity to bring in legitimate and authentic scarcity and fear of missing out here, because the sale is actually going to end. So you can leverage that very, very powerfully. Emotional connections sell. People are usually buying products for gifts around holidays, especially Black Friday, again, just because Christmas is approaching. So if you can tap into whatever your customer is buying for, who they're buying for, the reason they're buying for, that product for that person, or whatever it is that they're doing, you're going to win with that. So make sure to create emotional connection. And then lastly, again, this is such an important topic, is eliminate those massive objections. So for every brand, for every store, objections are going to be different. So you want to think about potential objections around buying during a holiday. Will they get the product in time? Do you offer returns or exchanges in case, maybe their significant other, maybe the sizing isn't right, or maybe they don't actually like the piece of jewelry that was purchased for them? Do you have those exchanges? Do you offer money back guarantees if it's lost in shipping or it doesn't arrive on time? Can you express ship products to people, etc.? So think about, from a logical standpoint, what potential objections somebody could have for your business, because they are going to be different. If you're running a POD business versus like a jewelry business, those objections are going to be very different. So you have to look at things from a very logical standpoint from your business. Okay, so I want to talk about the actual structure of a pre-sale engagement campaign now. That way you guys can take a look and see how it can apply to your specific situation. So I typically like to start pre-sale engagement campaigns around 2 to 3 weeks before the holiday starts. So there's enough time to build the audience plus convey the message. So that would be about a week to a week and a half from now. If we're looking at Black Friday, we're actually in the process of building out our strategy right now to launch here in a couple weeks. And I like to leverage all of our already acquired audiences, if we have them, across all of our different channels. So do you have a Facebook audience already? Do you have Instagram audience? Basically, any channel that you already have an audience on, you can leverage them in your pre-sale engagement campaign. And if you don't have one at all, if it's a brand new store, it's still a great opportunity to bring cold traffic to your list, warm them up, and then turn them into customers using the upcoming holiday as leverage to do so. And from an aspect of channels that we're going to be using, email and SMS are going to be the two main channels that I leverage to deliver the content that warms the audience with the campaign. So you can also use organic and paid channels throughout the course of the pre-sale engagement campaign to add additional touch points. So let's say, for example, you have a Facebook page, people start liking it, Instagram page, people start following it. So you can absolutely post, stories or feed posts or whatever that sort of speak to the upcoming sale that you're going to be having, to do the same sort of as the emails or the SMSs that you're going to be sending out as well. So the first thing we want to do from a technical aspect, very simply, we want to create an opt-in page, and it can be literally as simple as this. This page took me probably less than like 90 seconds to create. There's a million different landing page tools you can use in Shopify, WooCommerce, whatever platform you're on. Very, very simple. And it can be literally this simple. This was actually our Black Friday opt-in page last year. All it said was, be the first one to hear when our Black Friday discounts begin. And then there was just a simple email capture form underneath that said, notify me. And it didn't have to be a complicated system by any means, because Black Friday was coming up. Everybody knows what Black Friday is. There's already been billions of dollars, if not trillions of dollars, of money spent into creating this hype around Black Friday. All you have to do is sort of leverage that, so you don't have to actually have a complicated system. So,
hey Connor, quick
Yeah.
question for you. So what were the costs of opt-ins to a page like that versus like the cost per acquisition of a sale?
Yeah, absolutely. So our opt-in costs, I actually have them a little later on in the slide, and I believe if I remember correctly, for cold traffic it was around $4 to get an opt-in, and for warm traffic it was like under $1 when we were basically just re-engaging people. And if you compare that to our actual cost per acquisition to get somebody to buy a product, usually we're looking at $30 to $40 to actually get somebody to make a purchase. So we were hedging our bets on the fact that these people would be warmed enough that, you know, 1 in every 2, 1 in every 3 people who got onto our list would actually make a purchase, therefore bringing our cost per acquisition for these sales significantly lower than they would be if we were just running straight to cold traffic. Does that answer that?
And also, I think a question that a lot of people are going to have is like, which email autoresponders do you recommend and SMS tools? I don't know if you're going to dive into that in the presentation here.
Yeah, absolutely. Before getting into it, just simply, I use Klaviyo. I've always used it and I've always recommended it. I believe it's the best email marketing software out there for anything email related for e-commerce. And then for SMS software, I use a tool called SMS Bump. And both of these are free up until a certain point. But basically, once you start paying for them, they have to be worth it, because you can't, you know, you're not paying for it until your list is large enough and you're actually making money from it anyway. So both of them are free to get started with, and they're both phenomenal tools. I've been using them for a few years now.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, so moving on. So once they're actually opted in, it's just a very simple page here. So congratulations, we're excited to see you. Basically, this is more so for cold traffic. So we have Instagram, Facebook, blog posts. So we're just trying to push people over just to get them to potentially re-engage or engage for the first time on one of our social channels or a blog post or whatever, just to get them a little bit of content in between and hopefully build a little bit of a follower base as well. So it's just a simple thank you page basically after the opt-in. And then when we move on to step 2 now, so this is where we're actually going to be going into our email marketing software, regardless of what it is. Like I said, I highly recommend using Klaviyo. But once they've actually opted in, you want to create what's called your opt-in welcome message, which is very simple to do. Klaviyo actually has pre-built templates for this, so all you have to do is go in there and just alter the content that's in it, and it literally takes like 45 seconds to do. It's very, very simple. So now that people can opt in, you need to create your opt-in welcome message that triggers as soon as someone opts into the list. And if you're not an email marketer like I am, Klaviyo already has that set up as well. So as soon as you select that opt-in welcome message, they're already going to have it connected. And the welcome email should basically be very, very simple again, and to the point, pointing out the fact that they've subscribed to your VIP Black Friday, your Cyber Monday list, whatever verbiage you want to use around that. And then for them to watch out for updates as the date gets closer and closer. So for example, hey, first name, congratulations on joining our VIP Black Friday Cyber Monday list. You are now first in line for our upcoming sale. Keep an eye on your inbox for extremely important updates about the sale so you can be as prepared as possible when midnight hits. Happy shopping. This was literally our opt-in welcome message that we used last year. It worked well. I always like to mention that there's going to be extremely important updates in the copy, just because it's a psychological thing to make sure people keep watching out for those emails, because we want them opening, engaging with all of them. That way we can eliminate those objections with them. So very, very simple opt-in welcome message. Again, with Klaviyo, very easy to do. They already have that pre-built template that you just have to change a little bit. Moving on to step 3 now, this is where we want to drive traffic to the opt-in page. So the first thing that we want to approach is every potential warm traffic source that we can leverage to drive to our opt-in page. So this is if you already have, you know, maybe a store that's been running for a month or 6 months or a year or whatever. I have some go-to audiences to leverage that we can push into this sort of VIP Black Friday list. Number 1 above all is our email lists. And yes, we definitely want to use them even if they are already on our list. And we want to do that because what it does is it segments them into this brand new Black Friday list or whatever holiday list it is. And it makes sure that they're getting the most relevant information for that specific sale that's coming out. That way we know that those people are on the list and they're warmed up and ready to go. Same thing with SMS lists. Same thing with our customer lists. Maybe somebody's purchased from us before, but they actually left our unsubscribed from our email list, or maybe they were never subscribed or whatever. So we want to leverage that. We can upload that to Facebook. Social following, so people who follow our Facebook page, people who follow our Instagram page, etc. Social interaction, so anybody who's engaged with their page, engaged with their posts or ads, etc. And then lastly, our pixel data, so anybody who visited our website, bought from us in the past, viewed our content, added a cart, etc. Those are my go-tos. Those are the ones that I'll run every year. I'll run ads to it, or I'll post organically just to get people onto that opt-in page and opted in. So next one here I want to talk about is cold traffic sources that we can leverage to drive traffic to our opt-in page. So basically everyone's go-to cold traffic audiences, they're going to be different to mine, of course, because it'll be a different space. But I do highly recommend following these rules when it comes to leveraging or paying for subscribers, basically. And my go-to rule is I want to make sure that your cost per lead is no more than 2 times the average cost of your warm traffic leads. So let's say you start running ads and your warm traffic leads are around $2, then you would want to make sure that your cold traffic lead is no more than $4, or that 2x rule. Now, the only exception to this is if you have a solid understanding of your customer lifetime value or your past performance around holidays, then you can sort of base it off of that. So last year, for example, our warm traffic was under $1, our cold traffic was around $4, and that was okay because we know that based on past experience, past holidays, past sales, that was going to convert well for us. So another point is always test to broad audiences in the countries that you generally get results out of. So, simply just running it to the US, running it to Australia, running it to Canada. It's always a great strategy because Black Friday, Cyber Monday, such a big holiday. Everybody knows about it. It's not like you have to educate them on this, right? So always test to purchase lookalike audience of your best performing countries if you do have them, if you have that past data. And then always test to at least 10 of your best performing interest-based audiences in your top countries. So if you know what works before, or if you have interests that are similar, if maybe you're selling dog beds on Black Friday, then you can just look up 10 interest-based audiences that are revolved around dogs. It could literally be dog or German Shepherd or whatever. As long as it's going to be relevant to the products or the offer that you're going to be bringing to the table, they're probably going to convert pretty well. So once we've identified every source of traffic that we want to leverage, it's time for us to start pushing them to our opt-in page. Now, similar to everything else, which is actually so incredibly powerful that we're literally leveraging billions or trillions of dollars of marketing up until this point, again, we can keep our message incredibly short and simple. People know what holiday is coming. You don't need to explain it to them. All you want to do is streamline the process as much as possible, just so you can get them signed up. And then we're going to send an email blast to your email list. We're going to send an SMS blast to our SMS list. We're going to make organic posts to our social followers. We're going to run lead generation ads to your uploaded customer list, people who interacted with you, people who follow your social accounts, all of your cold traffic audiences. And all we're doing is we're driving every source of traffic, every audience that we have to the exact same opt-in page to make sure that we get them in and start getting our content.
Hey, Connor, quick
Yeah.
question. There's so a lot of people on this call are beginners.
Yeah.
They don't have email lists and social followings or customer data. Now, if you're a total beginner, is this method applicable for you?
Absolutely. We're actually doing this with a brand new store right now. Regardless of whether or not somebody has engaged with you in the past or not, because Black Friday is such a big holiday, such a big, it has so much buyer's intent around it. If you have a product or an offer that you want to push, this will absolutely work for you, regardless of if the store was created yesterday or if it's existed for 10 years, just because of the fact that marketing and e-commerce and eliminating objections and solving problems, those are applicable whether it's brand new or it's 10 years old. So the concept of this entire strategy is to prep everybody, whether it's a brand new audience or an old audience, to be ready to buy for Black Friday, because we are eliminating all of those problems that would hold people back from actually buying on the day. So I would actually recommend doing this over just running an ad on Black Friday, because of the fact that if you do that, people who come in on Black Friday are going to have objections that would stop them from buying that wouldn't have been eliminated by you. Rather, they would have been eliminated by somebody else who has actually leveraged something something similar to this prior to that. So they have a much higher chance of buying from somebody else who eliminated those objections rather than you if you haven't done that. Does that make sense?
Right. And it does make sense. And guys, I mean, you just have to think about the math too, right? If you're selling a product and your cost per acquisition is $30, but your cost to get somebody's email address is $3. And
Yep.
also remember, if you're running ads on Black Friday, there's so much competition that your
Yep.
CPMs and your ad costs are going to be skyrocketed. So if you're running ads now to get people on your list, let's say your cost per acquisition of an email address and an SMS is $3. And let's say 30% of those people buy, that means every 3 people that you get for $3 is buying. So instead of spending $30 to acquire a customer, you're spending $9 to acquire a customer. And this allows you, a lot of people are waiting till Black Friday, Cyber Monday to start running their ads. You get 24 hours, you're competing against the biggest advertisers in the world. This is what you guys should be doing now, leading up to Black Friday, building that list and getting ready to sell to them.
Yeah, absolutely. A point you said in there, which is really the driving force behind strategies like this, is the fact that there is so much competition out there who already has sort of that customer base who trusts them and has a customer base who has had past experiences with them, that you need to approach the situation with a strategy that is a little more complicated than just simply running ads, because costs are going to be through the roof over that entire weekend. They're 3, 4, 5, 10 times higher than they are throughout the rest of the year, just because of the fact that there's so many massive brands who have that trust already built up in them that are going to be running ads to those customers. So you have to approach this situation with a little bit more of a complicated strategy, which ultimately, like, you don't have to be scared or worried about the strategy, because it is incredibly simple. Like, this entire basically funnel can be built out in a 10-minute period. Even if you don't have any idea what you're doing, Klaviyo makes it so easy, and Facebook makes it so easy. Shopify makes it so easy. It's just, are you willing to go slightly above and beyond just going down the simple path and just trying to run ads and take advantage of the hype around Black Friday, right? So yes, it's a little more complicated, but the goal is to actually negate that massive amount of competition for everybody, regardless of whether or not you're brand new or if you've been doing this for 10 years.
Right. And another thing to think about too is, if you guys are running an online business, it's valuable to have this email list and SMS list. If you ever go to sell your business, that's one of the assets that people look at. So if you're spending $3 or $5 to get someone on your list, not only can you sell them things on Black Friday, you can sell them things throughout the year. You can send them promotions. You can retarget them, which means you can get them as customers a lot cheaper using your Facebook ads in the future. And when you go to sell your business, this is another asset that buyers are looking at. So you guys have to think more multi-dimensional here. I know a lot of you guys are beginners on this call. So you're like, I want to pick a product, I want to run an ad, I want to make a sale, I want it to be profitable. But this is not very complex. This is a little bit more complex. You're basically just spending money to get people to give you their information because they're excited for a really good deal you're going to give them. This is a really good trick. So if you guys are thinking that this is complicated, you got to rethink that, and you got to get yourselves ready for this time of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. And another very important thing you said there is, let's say this is your first time doing it, and all you do is break even at the end of the day on Black Friday. You own those emails, you own that customer information literally forever now. So that's why it's Black Friday and beyond, because we can then, the emails that we captured last Black Friday turned into customers that have bought from us this year again, people who have engaged with us, people who will probably come back and buy from us again this Black Friday. They always stick around as long as you're giving them a good experience. So the value of that list goes far beyond what you just get from the initial launch, right? It's literally, there's infinite ROI that comes from these lists if they're leveraged correctly.
Yeah, and this all makes sense, and I'm sure it's starting to make more sense for those of you who are a little bit confused. And Connor's very advanced, and this stuff's very simple to people like him, but it's also really simple if you just think about it. So just wanted to get us all back on track here.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so this is just again, I just want to keep things as simple as possible. This is literally the ad that we ran last year, or one of the ads we ran last year. Over on the right hand side, you can literally see all it says is Black Friday is near. Don't miss out. Again, all we're doing is we're just leveraging all of the mass amount of money that's been spent on building this hype around Black Friday for all of these years. We just need to remind people that it's coming. You can make an ad like that in Canva in literally 30 seconds. And in the center, you can see here some of our results from a little bit of spending that we did last year. So I was a little off. It was closer to $7 for the cold traffic leads, and then significantly better for the warm traffic leads, around 54 cents each. So again, keep things incredibly simple. You don't have to do anything complicated. So moving on to step 4 now. So now that our pre-sale engagement list is starting to grow, it's time for us to start prepping those customers for the sale. And this is where we're going to be pushing everything related to our products, past customer experiences, holiday sale details, whatever you have that is specific to your brand, or whatever idea that you have for your product launch or your store launch. So here's a very quick list of common topics to talk about throughout the process of warming the list. So for example, the exact details of the sale, when it starts, when it's going to end. So does it start at midnight? Does it start at 7 a.m.? This is super important. People need to know this. The exact offers, or hints of those exact offers, if you want to keep it a little bit, mysterious. All shipping information related to your sale. So shipping times, do you offer insured shipping, whatever it is that you have. Customer testimonials, past experiences. So if you've been running it for a long time, you can use some of your past customer experiences or testimonials to show them that you're a brand that can actually be trusted. Best-selling products, featured product spotlights. So if you have a really cool product, if you're brand new and you're launching your first store for Black Friday, show them a really cool product that you're going to be offering. Feature that product in a quick email to them, and show them why it's such a cool product that they're going to want to have for Black Friday. And then lastly, some unique brand information. So what I mean by that is, are you changing the way e-commerce works by drop shipping? You can leverage an angle that's like, we save you money by drop shipping directly from the manufacturer instead of housing it in a warehouse, so we can offer you the best deals. So what kind of unique brand information can you throw into the mix that's going to make things interesting for people? So again, when we want to start prepping our list, things don't have to be complicated. This is incredibly simple. Just keep the emails quick and to the point. Get only the most important information to them. Now, the one thing I want you to remember, and you can visually see this yourself, is people are on multiple email lists and they're shopping around. So there's a time factor here. So if you're sending massive blurbs of text, they're probably not going to read it. Simplicity is absolutely key here. I'm sure you've experienced having 100 emails sent to you in a day before, and you're definitely not reading all of them. So just being as simple and quick and easy to the point as possible is all that you want to do. And this is why it's so easy for somebody who's a beginner to leverage this at this time of year, is because, again, the hype has already been built for you. You don't have to put them through a complicated funnel. You can literally just say, hey, this is coming. We're offering this product. This is our shipping times, which you're going to have access to, right? So simplicity is key here, and you can get really, really powerful results from very simple things. So for the first 50 to 75% of the time leading up to the holidays, you want to send an email every 24 to 48 hours. And then for the last 25% of the time, you want to start to send emails every 12 to 24 hours, with even more emails going out leading up to midnight. So I'm going to show you a little example here, just broken down, very similar to what we did last year. This is basically just a quick email sequence that leads up to Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Again, very simple information, nothing overly complicated. Email 1, 14 days before the sale, welcome to the list. So that's just where we're saying, hey, you're on the list. Keep an eye out for stuff. Email 2, 13 days to the sale, important Black Friday, Cyber Monday details. So maybe this is where you give them, hey, it starts at midnight. Make sure you're ready to go, because we only have 1,000 of each products in stock, whatever scarcity you want to put in there. Email 3, 12 days to the sale, important shipping information. So, maybe you've talked to the supplier, you've checked the AliExpress listing, and, it's 7 to 14 days to the US. So maybe you put in there that our average delivery will be 7 to 14 days, just to communicate that to the customer.
Hey, Connor,
Email 4. Yeah.
these templates are in Klaviyo, right?
Yeah, all of these templates are in Klaviyo. That's what I mean. Like, this is such a simple thing to put together. You can literally go and build this out in an hour with having literally no experience, because Klaviyo does all of this for you.
Yeah, and in regards to shipping times, if you're using Zendrop, we have articles that say exactly what our shipping times are, so you don't have to rely on an
Yep.
AliExpress supplier to tell you something.
Yep. All of this information is easily accessible. All of the strategy is easily doable. It just takes a little bit of effort to do it, but the result that you get from that little bit of extra effort is typically significantly better than if you don't put that effort in, right? So let's go into email 4 now. So here's what our customers think. So if you have past customers, great. If you don't, maybe you look at testimonials or reviews on the products that you're selling, and those are accessible on AliExpress or wherever those, those reviews are listed of the product. Email 5, featured product spotlight. So this is where you can have, email Klaviyo's template on featuring a product. You can just simply put one of the products that you're going to be offering in there. Email 6, interesting facts about our brand. So maybe you want to talk to people about how you're drop shipping to save people money for the holidays, and you play a little bit on that angle and tell them that they're going to save money because they're not going to a major brand that has all of these costs in between, like warehousing and employees and all these other things. So you can actually play up on that really well. Email 7, the perfect gift ideas. Again, feature a product, talk a little bit about how it's a great gift for the holidays for a significant other. Maybe it's jewelry, POD, whatever. Talk about how it would make a perfect gift. Email 8, sneak peek at the offers. So maybe this is where you put a little mystery in, have some throw some suspense and fear of missing out, and say, hey, we're going to have 50% off site wide. This is what our offer is going to be. Or we have a mystery item that's going to pop up. Build a little bit of suspense in that. Email 9, 48 hours to go. So all we're doing is we're saying, hey, 48 hours before the sale starts, make sure you're ready to go. Email 10, don't miss out. We're short on stock. Build some fear of missing out. Build some scarcity into the mix. Show people that there's literally only got 500 units, only 1,000 units, whatever it is, whatever angle you want to play on. If you're not there and ready to buy, you're going to miss out. Email 11, last minute product choices. You can feature some more products here. Email 12, are you ready? This is literally 3 hours before. Make sure they're ready to go. And then last one, 60 minutes before the countdown begins. And you're literally you want to make sure that you are constantly in the minds of the potential customers. That way, just because they're going to be getting so many emails, so many different ads and everything, you want to make sure you're at the top of their mind as often as possible. So 60 minutes before works really well, because it's literally like they've just seen you, the sale's starting in 60 minutes, and you're literally at the top of their mind and they're paying attention, right? So that's just a very simple example of a sequence. And again, all of these emails, all of these templates are already pre-built by Klaviyo. All you have to do is simply throw in your own product photo, tweak some of the verbiage. You can set this entire sequence up like this in a matter of an hour or two, even if you have literally no experience. I've set these up myself, and I had no background in email marketing whatsoever, right? And I got really good results from it. So it's a powerful thing to leverage, even if you don't have that experience. So step 5 now, the last thing I want to talk about is going to be the actual launch. So regardless of what channels you're launching on, congruency and timing are key to the success of the sale. So make sure your messaging is perfectly aligned across the board. The same offer should be broadcast on every channel. So if it's 50% off in your ads, it should be 50% off in your emails, etc. Just make sure it's congruent. Broadcast to every list you have access to organically throughout the entire holiday sale. So, if you had a Facebook audience, or a Facebook audience has been built up over this time, you can leverage all of those. And then remember, you're not just broadcasting organically. You can also leverage both warm and cold paid traffic while intents are high. Target the same lists that you use for the lead gen campaign. So, let's say US broad was working really well. You can then run your offer to US broad because it was working really well when you were capturing these leads. So you get all of this data, which is another reason why you want to do this, is you get all this data, you identify all of these audiences over the course of building up these leads and pushing people into your funnel, you get data on which interests are working, whether it's cold or it's warm or whatever. So instead of going into Black Friday completely blind and just hoping those interests and that targeting and those audiences work out for you, you actually have, you're actually able to hedge your bets because of the fact that for the past 2 weeks, you can see what is working well for you based on who's converting as a lead. And ultimately, there's no right or wrong answer to how many offers you have over the course of the sale. You can have as many or as few as you want. Again, people are looking to buy. So you can, if you want to send them 7 emails and run 100 ads, that's perfectly fine. And it'll probably work pretty well if you do it right, because people are looking to buy, right? People want it. Very few people are going to complain because it's actually expected at this time of year. So a few final pieces of advice I want to talk about. Number one, above all, plan early. It's amazing how many tiny moving pieces there actually are to a holiday sale. You're not going to discover those unique pieces until you actually get started. So I usually like to start like around now or about a week from now, typically 2 to 4 weeks prior to when I want to launch. And then I aim to be done around 1 week before launch. So I'll be aiming to have everything done probably by like maybe next weekend. So not this upcoming weekend, but next weekend, maybe the Monday for that weekend. So you want to start early because there are some moving pieces. If you're brand new and you're launching a store for the first time, there's not going to be nearly as many moving pieces as if you've been doing it for a long time. So not going to be as much work, but you still want to plan early. Make sure your offers are better than any that you've had throughout the year. So obviously keep them, you want to keep them profitable for you. But if you've launched a store and you've done sales in the past, make sure they're better. Otherwise people are going to go, well, you just had a 30% off sale, a month ago. Why are you only doing 20% for Black Friday, right? So you want to think about what you've done in the past. If you already have a store that's doing a lot of sales, you'll probably want to have an extra customer support rep or two on standby if necessary, because things can get hectic. If you're just doing a store launch, you're probably not going to need one. You can probably handle most of it yourself or with a friend. Next point here is don't second guess yourself. Holidays are expected and everyone wants them to happen. A lot of people get scared about the fact that it's a daunting task, and there's all these sort of moving parts to it. But again, this is so simple and so powerful because all of these brands have already spent billions of dollars to build up hype around Black Friday, and all we're doing is really piggybacking off of the fact that this has been such a big thing for so many years. So we can create something very, very easy and simple with just a little bit of effort put into it. Think outside the box. My best results have come from trying something new that someone didn't tell me to do. So it's great that you're watching this and I'm showing you some really great strategies around it. But if you have an idea, try it. Like my best results have literally come from ideas that have just popped into my head at like 2 o'clock in the morning when I can't sleep, and I went and tried it and it worked really well, right? So think outside the box. And lastly, have fun. Holiday sales are usually when you make the most sales and profit. So absolutely enjoy it regardless of where you are or what happens. Enjoy the learning experience, enjoy the journey and everything that comes with it. So those are some final pieces of advice. Next steps here now. I would really love to hear what you guys think about this presentation and if you got value from it. So feel free to shoot me a message at my Instagram. I'd love to hear if you got value from it. I'd love to have a discussion on if you got value from it. And if you did get value from it and you're looking for any more free material like this, we have tons of free resources. We actually have a full A to Z dropshipping course as well. So shoot us a follow or a message at Kaizen Ecom on Instagram. Visit the link in our bio, and we have, like I said, tons of free material just like this out there to help all of you with any strategies or technical issues that you might be having in drop shipping. So other than that, that's the presentation. So I guess we can jump into some more Q&A now.
Awesome, Connor. That was a fantastic presentation. And guys, you're learning from someone who's doing this actively. So these are not outdated techniques. These are not, your cookie cutter things. Like, these are really great leverageable techniques for people at any level. And with the tools available, with Klaviyo, and what tool are you using for your opt-in pages? I think some people were asking.
For our opt-in pages, I use Zipify Pages. It's one of the more pricey ones. I think it comes in at like $59-$69 a month, something like that, with a free trial. But there are free ones like Shogun that you can use. There's tons of them. Shopify has so many good opt-in pages, and because of the simplicity behind it, you can use pretty much any tool and you'll get perfectly good results from it, just because it's so simple. You don't need to create a complicated funnel.
Cool. So yeah, between Klaviyo, Zipify Pages, there's tons of other landing page softwares you can use as well. But it makes all this stuff really easy to do. So although it seems complicated, Connor just dove in depth to explain to you how all this stuff works. If you want to come up, be called up here live, just raise your hand in the participants area. We'll call you up to ask questions. Connor also has a wealth of knowledge across the board with e-commerce, so don't take this time for granted. Definitely, let's hit Connor with some questions here.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had a couple of good questions come in through the chat, so while people are starting to raise their hands, we can just go ahead and answer a few of those. We got one here that was, what did you offer on the opt-in page? There wasn't, the offer was opt in to get communication from us about Black Friday deals, right? So don't miss out creating that scarcity, that FOMO around making sure that they put that email address in so they can get communication about those deals. And another good question that was asked was, that's actually a lot of emails. I understand they're short, but with that cadence, how far are you typically starting? 14 days in advance. That was shown in the slides, which we're going to send out as well. And then another good question was, what's the value of all these emails? Seems to me that most people would overlook emails either intentionally, or because they just get so many emails. I know I rarely open emails from businesses who have my email because I regard them as spam, from David. So Connor, I'll let you go ahead and answer that.
Yeah, for sure. And that's absolutely a case. And you will definitely have people that don't open it or completely ignore it after. But that's sort of the whole point of having the opt-in page and running the ads to it, is because when somebody, like, think about the last time you were actually thinking of buying something from a company that you saw. When you put your email in with that specific purpose of getting that offer, there will be a large percentage of people who actually look out for your email because they wouldn't have opted in if they didn't want it, right? So the second they do that, they have shown intent and they have shown interest in your brand and buying your product or your sale. So regardless of whether or not maybe they don't buy on Black Friday, but that intent, that micro commitment that they made when they opted in showed that they were actually interested in you and they will be paying attention. So yeah, absolutely. If you acquire their email some other way and they're not showing that intent, then maybe they'd ignore it and look at it as spam. But these people are actually opting in specifically to your brand because they want to see what you have to offer.
Yeah. Also, we do bring this up a lot on these calls, but what you think, doesn't really hold much bearing to what the market thinks. You're a very, very, very small sample size of the larger market. What you would buy may not dictate what other people would buy. What emails you open doesn't dictate what emails other people would open. So have an open mind, be open-minded, and try things, because you never know what's going to work until you try them.
Agreed. Now, Connor, how are you picking what products you're going to launch for Black Friday?
Absolutely. So if it's we'll take a brand new store, for example, just because we're going to be doing it on a brand new store this year, as well as a store that we've had for a few years now. But let's talk for the instance of a brand new store. So the first thing I always go to is anything that's going to be heavily related to the season that we're in. So with Christmas coming up, a lot of people are shopping on Black Friday for anything that could be a good gift, anything that would be a very functional gift, anything that they would like to buy their significant other or their families. So when I'm looking for products to offer, the first thing I'm going to and looking at is, would this make for a good gift? Would this be something that, somebody's girlfriend would love to have purchased for them or something like that, right? So we're kind of thinking about what customers would be actually looking to make these purchases for, and gifting is the biggest thing at this time of the year. Now, the second thing that I'm looking at is sort of what's trending right now. So is there something in the news that we can advertise, or that we can leverage and play off of? Is there, a new movie that just came out? Is there a new, I don't know, show or game or something like that that we can sort of leverage to kind of piggyback off of the fact that there's a lot of hype and there's a lot of trend going on around it. And then at the same time, that could probably make for a great product too, right? So those are sort of the two main focus points around this time of year. Outside of that, anything that solves a problem, anything that saves money, anything that saves time, those are always really great sort of key characteristics that you can go towards at any time during the year. But Q4, looking at the time of year and what people might be buying for gifts, that's one of the most powerful things that you can leverage. Jewelry at this time of year, I've found, has worked really, really well, just because of people like me. I always buy, my girlfriend a last minute necklace or something like that, because I see it and I know she'd like it, right? So think about it from a gifting perspective.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, Black Friday, that's what most people are shopping for, if not for themselves. But Connor, do you have any recommendations on, spy tools that you use for product research? Or a lot of people ask that on almost all of our calls.
Yeah, I've never been a huge fan of spy tools, and the reason being is because everybody's using them. So if you have, like, let's say you find this top product, it's super hot, it's the top of the page of the spy tool, that means that a million other people who have that spy tool are also seeing the exact same thing. So for me, product research always comes down to, first of all, like just going and jumping onto AliExpress and just looking for products that solve problems, or could make for good gifts, or are unique and look like something that couldn't be purchased in a store. And then secondly, again, I just keep an eye out for trends, and I just think logically, like, like when this whole COVID thing started, trend masks, right? Personal protective equipment,
Which,
stuff like
by the
that.
way, for those of you listening, we have about 1,000 different amazing mask designs that are in the US that ship in 3 to 5 days, listed on Zendrop for like $5. So that's a super hot product that you can sell for Black Friday.
Yeah, that's a great example. That's a perfect example of something that is trending so massively around the world. I know people who have made millions of dollars selling exactly that, masks with very simple designs on them. They've made millions of dollars in a few months off of just hitting that trend, right? So you don't really need a spy tool. You just need to think a little bit about, do a little bit of research about what's going on, and then just think logically, right? Like, does this product solve a problem? Is it unique? Could you get it in a store? All of those things should be pretty much going through your mind 24/7 when you're looking at products. I know it is for me.
Yeah, and I mean, if you are looking at a spy tool, it kind of gives you the idea of what to look for. If you notice
Yeah.
a lot of dog items are trending on your spy tool, then it's a good idea to look for other practical dog products, and vice versa. We got a question here in regards to when to send emails. Is there a best day or time to send out these emails?
No, it doesn't really matter. I mean, ultimately, it's going to hit the inbox regardless of what time you send it. So I would advise against sending it at like 3 a.m. But if you're up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and you want to send an email, the majority of people are going to get it. Like, if you have an email list of 5 million people, then you can really nitpick about exactly when to send it, and when the best engagement rates are. But at a stage where you only have a few thousand emails, or even tens of thousands of emails, it's going to impact your overall results by like a percentage of a percentage. So it's not something to stress about right now.
Cool. Yeah, you guys are limited on the questions tonight, maybe because Connor got into so much detail in the presentation and they were all answered. But do you guys have any other questions that you want to go through, or does anyone want to jump up here? This is your time.
Yeah, I'll take anything that isn't related to the thing either. You want to talk about mindset or whatever? I'm all for it. As much value as I can bring.
One person asked about Zendrop, and basically said that the US products are limited. What can we look forward to with Zendrop? So the amount of products that are actually in the US, shipping from the US, are limited. We do have 1,000 different types of masks you can drop ship from the US. We are also doing an integration with a major distributor. We're about to add about 200,000 different products that'll be in the US ready to ship. But what you can look forward to is we have our own facility in China, and we have access to over 100 different shipping lines. So, we're boots on the ground there. If you're selling a lot of volume and you come to us, we can beat your pricing, and we can be extremely competitive with you. And also our interface is really easy to use. So if you guys have any questions about that, happy to answer.
Yeah, and the catalog has a lot of products on it, but if you don't see anything if you don't see what you want to sell, you could just import straight from AliExpress. We don't use the AliExpress seller. We go and source the product with our own fulfillment company, but we use the data from the AliExpress listing to make sure we're sourcing the right product. So we can source anything from AliExpress.
Robin's asking, what product categories have you found to be the most successful for the Cyber Weekend?
So for me personally, I found a ton of success in jewelry just because of the fact that jewelry is probably like, I mean, I don't actually have any statistics on this, but in my mind, I feel jewelry is one of the most gifted products out there, just because it does make for such a great gift. So for me personally, that's where I found a lot of my success. Another one of the big reasons for that is because the cost of goods on jewelry is typically a lot lower than the actual perceived value of it. But that being said, I mean, I've also found pretty good success in POD products around this time of year, t-shirts, funny t-shirts, anything related to, the holiday seasons, etc. Make for a really good one. But if I was to recommend one to jump into, especially if you're newer, jewelry is probably one of the easiest places to look into at this time of year.
Yep. That's awesome. Yeah. We've sold quite a bit of jewelry in the past as well, and I know a lot of people have success with it. Julian's asking, can Zendrop source a hot product if they don't have it on the list? Like Brad was mentioning, we have an AliExpress import feature. So if you search for a product and it's not there, you scroll down, you click the button, you paste the AliExpress link in, and we take that data and we'll go source that product for you. So it's really quick and easy, and you can essentially start selling right away. Peggy's asking, how soon will we know once something's out of stock? Will we get a notification by email? Brad, you want to answer that one?
Yeah, we'll notify you right away once it's out of stock. So it's a tricky, the out of stock issue is a tricky one. Essentially, there is no, and I know AliExpress has stock listings, but it's essentially just a made up number. It's impossible to know how much stock is currently in supply, because there could be hundreds or thousands of factories that are selling the same product and have access to those products. So to get the real-time inventory, even if a company has it on their website, they're lying to you. It's just the facts. They don't know how much is in stock, because they're also drop shipping the merchandise. The drop shipping business model doesn't work if someone has tons of inventory, right? Only the factories have inventory, but they're not the ones actually shipping out the products. So long story short, like I said in the beginning, as soon as it's out of stock, if something goes out of stock, we'll immediately notify you via email. And sometimes it only goes out of stock for a couple of days and it's back in stock. We'll give you as much information as we have at that time. But in regards to actual inventory and real-time tracking, you have to integrate with every single factory in China's ERP system, and there's millions of them. So it's essentially an impossible task.
Yeah, and I definitely wouldn't hold back because of something going out of stock. Like, you should be striving to sell something out of stock.
Yeah, and typically the factories, if something has high demand and it's going out of stock, they'll push to produce it faster. So like Jared said, don't hesitate because something may go out of stock. Just sell it out and you'll create more demand for the product.
There's a couple questions in the Q&A, Brad, that are in regards to Zendrop. Somebody wanted to learn more about the AliExpress feature. Do you want to just paste the link to the article that shows how to use that?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Yeah, somebody named Anonymous. I don't know who they are. Connor, couple questions for you. So what is your main focus on a day? Like, when I talk about, doing well in e-commerce, I say it's really important to be consistent. It's really important to set aside at least an hour a day to work on your business, even if you don't necessarily know what you're working on, because you go through waves of getting motivated and then getting discouraged and then seeing something that motivates you and then doubting yourself and stopping and then seeing somebody post something and getting motivated again. What do you have any tricks that you use to keep yourself consistent to keep working on your business?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a lot of tricks actually. There's a lot of sort of work that goes into it. The one thing that I always say is I always take a top-down approach of what's the most important versus what's the least important. And for me, especially this year, making sure that my health is always on track has really helped with the mindset. That's like been absolutely crucial for me. I find that when, I feel like I'm healthy and I'm doing things properly, the rest of the negatives kind of go away. So that fear of not, that fear that's holding me back from launching products, or that sense of maybe, the hype dying down or whatever, that doesn't really matter, because I know that at the end of the day, by me launching another product, by me trying another thing, I'm actually progressing myself overall as an entrepreneur, as a human being in life, regardless of what the outcome is. So even if you launch a product, even if I launch a product and it doesn't go very well, that's okay, because I've learned something, right? So that's kind of been one of the core things that has sort of helped me keep that consistency, is just making sure that my body's taken care of, my mind is taken care of. And when that's done, everything just kind of comes naturally, because you're not really, worried about anything or depressed because you could be doing more, that it just comes naturally. Does that kind of make sense?
Yep. And like, you don't have to feel guilty if you're not working so much too.
Yeah.
Like there's so many people you might follow online that are like, you got to grind 18 hours a day or 15 hours a day to be successful. But like, I take the opposite approach. Like, I like to really get quality work done for 4 to 5 hours a day and have creative conversations for a few other hours. But if I work more than 4 or 5 hours, my quality of work gets worse and I actually get less achieved, and I'm not able to think at a creative level that allows me to be more effective with my time. So you don't feel guilty if you're only working a few hours a day, but make sure you are working a few hours a day at the same time. Feel guilty if you don't work for 4 days in a row. That's when you should feel guilty. But don't hold yourself to over grinding. Let's see. Robin's asking best recommendation for order tracking plugin on Shopify.
What's it called? I think it's called Tracker, Trackr. I think that's the one that I use. Very, very simple. It's very simple, and it's worked very well for me. And I know they have a way of giving customers an actual visual order tracking. Like they have instructions on how to build it out on an actual page where they can put in their order number or their email or whatever, and it will actually show them that information natively on your site, as opposed to having to go to like a third-party website somewhere else.
Yeah, somebody's asking if is this required with Zendrop? With Zendrop, when your order gets shipped out, you're gonna automatically get the tracking information, and it's gonna be emailed out to your customer through your Shopify account. But what the plugin does, it allows your customer to go back to the website and use the tracking information to see where their order is. So it's two separate things.
Yeah.
Good question from Jacob. What is the lifetime value of your customers once you get them to your email list, and over what time?
For me personally, or just in general?
I guess we can go a little bit of both.
So for me personally, the way I look at lifetime value is I kind of look at it in segments. So for example, what are they worth over 1 month? What are they worth over 6 months? If we actually go over like the entirety of the business, then they're worth around $140 per customer. But that is like so drastically different for every business, and it depends on, do you have a subscription? Is it subscription based? Is it a one-time purchase, right? So there's no like average answer, because it's super dependent on the business.
Connor, to simplify, the people that you're getting on this list through your Black Friday method, on average, how many times are they going to buy from your business? Or what would you think in your head? when you're
So for me personally, they probably 3 to 4 times. But again, because the business hasn't existed for 10 years, it could end up being 20, it could end up being 30, but 3 to 4 times per person on average.
Yeah. So if you're breaking even, if you're getting an email address, you're selling them, you're breaking even on your ad spend, you're profitable on it in the future.
Yeah.
A lot of people just think it's, find a winning product, run ads, make a profit, you're done. It's like, no, like 15 to 20% of your revenue could come from email.
Yeah.
When I first started dropshipping, I didn't have my email in place. And it was back in like 2016, 2017, when like it was really easy to run ads profitably. But, as time went on, like, any of our e-commerce stores, email and SMS are where that's the bread and butter. I mean, you could break even on the front end, but you can make a lot of money in the back end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. Any recommendations on where to study, how to read Facebook ad data?
I mean, I got a free course all on that, so that's a pretty good resource, and it's
You
free.
guys should follow Connor. He's got his social handles here, so follow him. He's always posting good content. Highly recommend you follow him, and you'll learn a lot. Also, I mean, we live in a world of unlimited information.
Yeah.
So if you say you don't know how and that's why you're not doing it, it's a horrible excuse. You can literally go on Google, YouTube. You can find unlimited information. I mean, it might not all be the best and it might not be concentrated. That's why you got to kind of pick and choose who you want to follow. And also if you're on our Zendrop Pro membership, there's, I believe, do we have ecom hacks on there, Brad, yet? Or is that something is that up there?
Not yet. It's going to be very shortly. It's going to be that plus some other awesome content in there that we're making. We're basically releasing what we're calling Zendrop Academy. And that's going to be some awesome content in there for you guys. Goes through tons of testing strategies, scaling strategies, how to analyze and interpret data. So kind of right along with what that question was there.
Yeah, and that all comes with your membership, so you don't have to pay anything extra for it. It's right there. But Connor's got a wealth of information. We have a wealth of information. YouTube's got a wealth of information. What it really comes down to, though, Julian, is just doing it. You're going to learn a lot more in the process of doing it. One of the big problems I see is people overanalyze when they're ready to get started. They want to learn enough to get ready. And this is like a major newbie mistake, but it's okay because most people go through it. They're like, I got to learn more before I get started. I should probably learn this first. And really what you're doing is you're saying, like, I don't want to get started yet because I'm not comfortable. But if you get started, you're going to learn way more than you did if you tried to learn it first through force. When I first got started dropshipping, I got in, I started doing it, and I got lucky. My first product took off massively, tremendously. But like, it could have been my third product, could have been my fifth product, could have been my 10th product. And I learned through trial and error. I mean, I hired a guy on Upwork originally who ran Facebook ads for another one of my businesses. I used his methodology, tweaked it a little bit, tested some shit, and then it worked. So I stuck with it. So, it's advertising. It's not, there's a lot of different methods to it, but just kind of get started and get your feet wet. That's what I recommend.
One of my favorite quotes of all time from Mark Zuckerberg is better done than perfect.
I love that. Love that.
That's the truth of it. It's better done than trying to figure out how to do it perfectly.
Yeah. You're not going to find out how to do it perfectly until you've done it for 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. And to elaborate on that a little bit, I think the reason why that's so powerful is because you will never get it perfect on the first try. It's impossible. And so done rather than perfect it works because you're putting it out and then creating a feedback loop. So you're putting it out, you're getting feedback based on what people thought about it, and then you could iterate on it again and improve it until you get it to a point where it's damn near perfect. It's impossible to do that without the feedback from the external environment. You're never gonna get it perfect in a bubble, you know, just thinking on your own.
Yep.
Any other questions, guys? We are a little bit over what we normally allocate for this call, but happy to be here. All right. Well, Connor, thank you so much for joining, man. This was awesome. For any of you guys who watch this and want to rewatch it, it'll be on our YouTube channel. We'll send out an email with the replay. You can watch it at your own pace. And, you know, if you guys enjoyed it, make sure to join our next Zendrop live call. Connor, make sure to follow Connor. He's got his social channels right here. You'll get a lot of great information from him. We really appreciate you coming on. The Zendrop community, you know, loved your content, got a lot of great feedback already. And thank you so much, guys.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I'm glad I could bring some value to everybody.
Awesome. All right. Have a great night or great day, depending on where you're on the world. And we'll see you next time.
Take
Thanks,
care.
Connor. Yep.
Bye.